Oh, okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good morning, dear students, and welcome to another class for English 102, New Language Leader, and the unit is 7.4, Study and Writing Skills. And this is a revision of the unit. And last time we didn't finish the whole thing, so this is a continuation of yesterday's lesson. So just a reminder of the main objectives. So we've done some practice for the bar chart description. We've looked at the importance of describing bar charts and what are some of the questions that you might ask yourself when you look at a bar chart. And I remember that some of the students talked about the peaks or the trends. So these are the benchmarks that you will be looking for in order to emphasize them and talk about them in your description. Now, the second objective is to use some contrast words correctly. There are many contrast words in English, and today, inshallah, we're going to study some of them. And of course, we will be looking at the differences among them. All right. We stopped at this slide. We did the activity, and I showed you the answers. Now, as you can see, the bar chart has only one column. I mean, for each category, there's only one column. There is only one bar. But sometimes you have a comparison between two things, a comparison between 2 years, a comparison between boys and girls, a comparison between, for example, two schools, two countries, for example, 2 years, for example. So when it comes to comparison, we need to use some contrast words, all right? Now, the following bar chart has a comparison between boys. Boys are in green, and the girls are in yellow. So I want you to study the bar chart, and as you read the description, you will notice that there are a couple of contrast words because I am making a comparison between boys and girls. So it's a little bit complicated in a sense that you need to use contrast words. You need to make comparisons as much as you can. All right. So I'll give you 5 minutes for this activity. Study the bar chart and fill in the blanks with the correct information. 5 minutes for this activity. I'll just go through some of the answers received by the students. So we have Faris Tariq. He says music, number 1. 2, shopping. 3, shopping as well. 4 is computer games. And 5 is 20%, all right? Try to give your answers in one message. Sufyan Mansour, music, shopping, computer games, music, 20%, 6% music and sports. Check your answers in a minute, inshallah. We have Abdullah Mahsin, music, shopping, computer games, and 20%. Muhammad Abdullah, music, shopping, computer games, music, 18%, 6% music and sports. Okay, now I'm going to show you the answers. So check your answer in the next slide. Thank you, Ahmed Nasser. Ahmed Nasser, thank you so much for participating. All right, let's have a look at the model answer. So the bar chart shows, again, I talked about this. You get this from the title of the bar chart. All right, so it's at the top of the bar chart. So the bar chart shows, number 1 is the title, favorite leisure activities of teenagers in Canada, which are, and then you go to the bottom. So you've got sports, computer games, music, shopping. These are the categories, which are sports, computer games, music, and shopping. According to the bar chart, shopping has the highest number for boys, reaching more than 35%, whereas the lowest percentage goes to computer games, reaching less than 20%. As for girls, the highest percentage goes to music, reaching more than 20%. In contrast, this is a contrast word, and you've got whereas as well. This is a contrast word, whereas. In contrast, this is a contrast word. بمعنى على النقيض من ذلك. In contrast, shopping has the lowest percentage, reaching only 6%. Sports comes second for boys, reaching 26%. And computer games come third, reaching 17%. Computer games come second for girls, reaching 14%. And sports comes third, reaching 11%. All right? So overall, this is the final conclusion. Overall, it can be noted that shopping is at the top for boys. However, is a contrast word. So this is another contrast word. It means but this is a little bit more informal. And it comes at the very beginning, or you can use it at the very beginning of a sentence. It can come in the middle of a sentence, but after a comma. But normally it comes at the very beginning of a sentence. However, music is at the top for girls. All right, so what are contrast words? So contrast means different. Therefore, contrast words are used to make a comparison between two things. As you saw in the bar chart, we had boys and girls. So we are making a comparison between the two. Examples are, we have whereas. So whereas, it comes after a comma. All right? So it comes after a comma. It cannot come at the beginning of a sentence. It cannot. So it comes after a comma. All right? So be careful about this, because we're going to have like a short quiz or a competition at the end of the lesson. So example, boys like sports. See, we've got a comma here. So you've got a comma, whereas girls like shopping. Number 2, in contrast. It comes at the beginning of a sentence. Example, boys like sports, full stop. In contrast, girls like shopping. All right. Number 3, in comparison with. It comes in the middle of the sentence. So you got in comparison with. It can be followed by to, but it has the same meaning. So you can say in comparison to, or you can say in comparison with. They both have the same meaning. But for today's lesson, we're going to use with. All right? So I need you to follow it with. All right? So you say in comparison with. So it comes in the middle of the sentence. Example, the number of boys who like sports is very high in comparison with the girls. All right? Number 4, it comes at the beginning of a sentence. As we said, it can come in the middle, but for today's lesson, we will be using it at the very beginning of a sentence. So after it, you will have a comma, just like in contrast. Number 2 and 4, they are almost the same. After them, you will have a comma. After in contrast, you'll have a comma. And after, however, you will have a comma as well. So it comes at the beginning of a sentence. For example, boys like sports. However, girls like shopping. So these contrast words are very, very useful when it comes to describing a bar chart, especially when you have two things, right? All right. I think it's time for the competition, or maybe there is an activity. Yeah, there is an activity before we go to the competition. So 5 minutes for this activity as well. Fill in the blanks with the correct contrast words. We've got however, in comparison with, whereas, and in contrast. So take 5 minutes and fill in the blanks with the correct contrast words. We have some responses. We have Yusuf Abu Bakr. Number one, whereas. Two, however. Three, in comparison with. And four, in contrast. Check your answer in a minute. Ali Al-Rida Salim. Whereas, however, in comparison with, in contrast. Muhammad Mish'al. In comparison with, however, whereas, in contrast. Check your answer in a minute. Okay. We have Ali Mukhtar. Whereas, in contrast, in comparison with, whereas. I think Ali Mukhtar, you are using whereas twice. You have used whereas twice. So only one. You use only one for each. For each. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So you've got 4 contrast words for each blank. Don't use use one of them twice. Okay, we have Lutfi, Sayyid Lutfi. Whereas, however, in comparison with, and in contrast. Check your answer in a minute. Thank you so much. All right. So contrast words are really useful when it comes to comparing two things. Try to use them, especially when you are comparing two things. All right. In your quizzes and you know اللي هي التطبيقات إذا مثلا سألوكم, try to, if you have a question like this in your quizzes or your examinations, try to use contrast words in your description. All right. Okay, let me show you. So number one, we are using whereas because it is preceded. It is preceded by a comma. So there is a comma before whereas. So the only possible answer here is whereas. You can use however, but for today's lesson, we will be using however at the beginning of a sentence. All right. Okay. So number one is whereas. Okay. Number two, you have in contrast. I think this should be number 4. I think there is a mistake here. Number 4 is in comparison with, because it comes in the middle of a sentence, and there is no comma, nothing. So you should be using in comparison with, بالمقارنة ب. All right. So this is number 3. Number 4 is however. All right. So number 2 and 4, they can be used alternatively. Okay. All right. Now, I want you to have your mobile phone because we're going to play a game. Get your mobile phones ready. So this competition or this game is like a revision for unit 7 and 8. All right. So try to join as quickly as you can, please. Go to joinmyquiz.com and enter the first one is Hassan Khalaf. Well done, Hassan Khalaf. You are the first one to enter the game. We want to have as many students as we can. I'm giving you exactly 5 minutes to get into the game. And after 5 minutes, we will be starting the game. You will have 20 questions. There are 5 questions in which you will have to write the correct answer. So it's not all multiple choice. All right. You will have some questions in which you will have to write the correct answer based on what we have been studying so far. So of course, if you don't write it correctly, if you don't write the answer correctly, it will be considered wrong. So you have to spell it correctly. As I said, there are 5 questions where you have to write the correct answer. Um, one more comment about your responses in the chat box. Please, please, please do not copy and paste other students' responses. If you really want to benefit from the lesson and if you really want to learn and improve, you've got to depend on yourself and write your own answers. Do not copy and paste. Please do not copy and paste other students' responses. All right. Okay. We should be starting soon. I'm really sorry. So I will count to 3, and after that, I will start the game. I'm really sorry because we are running out of time. So here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, thank you so much. I'll just go over. Um, Welcome back. Thank you so much for participating actively in today's game. And the percentage is 69% of accuracy. This is really good. Hopefully, inshallah, next time it will get higher. Just regarding question 11, most of you had some problems with it. Yeah. So, number 11, swimming comes second after football. Um, yeah, I think there is a problem with the question. There is something missing here. It's my problem. Yeah, it's my problem. I think yeah, there is a mistake here because I think there are a few words missing here. Swimming comes second after football, whereas it should be whereas, for example, swimming comes or no, no, no. Mm, no, the question is correct. The answer is reaching. Hmm, yeah, reaching because you are giving me the percentage. Yeah, that's no, no. There is nothing wrong with the question. I'm sorry. Yeah, the question is okay. The question is correct. So swimming comes second after football. Reaching, yeah, reaching 60%. So you'll have to write reaching. All right. So yeah, we have 110 correct answers, and we have 245 incorrect answers. All right. But for the uh, for the other questions, I think you did not have any
problems. So that was the only question that you had problems with. That was really lovely. Thank you all for participating actively and enthusiastically in today's game. Thank you so much. And this is goodbye from me. And I'll see you, inshallah, very soon next week. Bye bye.